G'day, welcome to this next session of my Oxygen Not Included playthrough. Alright, where we are just trying to make sure that we've got enough going on for food. So, thank you to those that commented on the previous one. So it is apparently about 3 or 4 bristle blossom that I require per person in order to survive, so I probably do need a few more. It was pointed out that the lights will create heat too, so I've also got to be aware of that. So I don't know if I'm maybe going to have to put a few more Wheezewort in somewhere to counter that. And what else do we have going on here? Let's just pause for a second while we work this out. So the first thing was that it suggested that on the electric grill, I can make grizzly berry. So if we say that forever, it should, sorry, gristleberry. So if we do that, then it should mean that any time we have bristleberries, we can use, we can turn them into that, which make more food than what the bristleberries themselves do. So we're going to up that to 8. Probably was also suggested that I have a full-time chef, which I believe is Mima. If we go to skills, Mima is my one full-time chef, or one skilled chef. So if we go to priorities and just check out Mima, so she is set as cooking is her only thing, so technically she is a full-time chef. So cool, we'll let her just take care of that. Obviously there's no bristle blossoms yet because they're still growing. Hopefully we'll see our calories jolt up a little bit there. This is still saying that we have 6 tons of dirt, so I mean, that is swaying depending on how much, I guess, access we've got to the rest of our world, but I would say that that dirt's probably pretty far out there. It's just that people have dug holes and that's fallen to the bottom, so, and you can see that fluctuates pretty significantly. It's now down to 6.2. Let's just put in an order to mop what we can there. Not on floor. Saying that's actually not reachable. I realize that what we've done here makes that not really connectable. So if we just go copy some granite, just put that there, that should allow him to sneak through. So we've actually used all the seeds we currently have for Bristle Blossom, so those ones are going to sit there like that for now. I figure I may as well just wait till I get more, and I hope that Bristle Blossom is the sort of thing like the mealwood that just does occasionally create new seeds. Base seed harvest chance 10%, so if we've got 10, then there's a chance we should get at least 1. And then slowly we'll get all those ones going, but it does also mean that there's no point in trying to plant more at the moment. Do still need to make a bed for one of the people. Still just destroying these guys. I don't much like those poke shells, so let's give them what for. So there are 2 rooms that I now really want to build. I want to build a new bedroom, and I also want to build well, the suggestion that one of the easiest ways to get food is shovels. So I will have a look into that as well. What I want to do is just try and find somewhere where I can sneak another bedroom in. And I realize I could potentially just do something like this to Camille's room. This room is quite warm too. Maybe I should give her... Or at the very least what we should do is give her a new ceiling. So let's go. Because Below her is quite cool. It's just above her is extremely warm. If we go some insulated tiles, let's just try and mirror what we've got going on in this room here. Since this room is acceptable, trying to see if we can replicate it. So it is... We'll go all the way over to this wall here. So we'll create a wall there, run a roof across the top there. And we will ask to dig out all of that. And get there. What we'll do is we will deconstruct. I'll make sure we only say buildings, just in case I don't think there is anything behind there, but that's safe than sorry. Deconstruct those guys. We will then copy this guy. And run him across the bottom there. But we will also grab an airflow tile. Put that at the... Now let me just overwrite what I've already done, so let's get rid of that. And put that in there. I don't think I want to look at getting any people at all, so let's just grab the non-people option this time. Still nowhere with our lead. Which lead do we have? 180 tons. Is it just far away, or reserved just at 500 tons? Sorry, 500 kilograms. I mean, it does seem like it's just a low priority job, or... Oh, is it just that there's no oxygen, so we can't get people outside? That is a pain too, that I've just not got the materials to make those. It does seem like they're there. Let's drop that down to 2. Since it seems so hard for us to get them. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll get another bed in here. What's the distance between these two beds? Quite far, so let's put it at the far edge there. Let's get a nice... sort of... The oxygen's dropped a little bit. We still haven't got the roof get out there, actually. So let's get a ladder built in the middle of that room to try and get to the roof. Probably don't need that top spot there. Do wonder too, once I build the statue, do I just hit the sort of like, congratulations, you've achieved that, and then all I've got to do is just, I can remove it again and then reuse that steel? Speaking of which, where'd all my steel go? So that's just basically because there's no available oxygen out there. So again, we've got to basically wait for these other routes to hit max capacity so that our oxygen, our key way of getting out here actually does have an constant oxygen supply going to it, like this one. See how that's maxed out. Basically, we're just working our way back to there. Now, I realize that this split here isn't overly necessary. I could just pass that on to these guys, but it's just basically in the event that this ever is full, it does mean that there is a way for this oxygen to go elsewhere. Although it's so constantly here, I'm not even sure that that matters. To me, it does feel like if the purpose of the stuff up here is to just put oxygen into the remainder of the base, that's kind of a priority over being able to get outside, even though there is stuff outside we definitely need. You can see this does backlog steadily. And so once that backlog is hit, then it'll prioritize this way anyway, so... Sorry, that is Ruby. Now if I put a ladder across the top there, will they actually climb that, or is it too high? Will they walk on top of it as opposed to along it? Let's find out. Still not much happening here. Let me just try and prioritize one of these. If we say 9 on that one, can we get that one done just to confirm that we do have lead sort of moving around somewhere? Good. Alright, cool. So they can operate by just sort of shifting along. I don't think that there's any way I can get by here without destroying one of these two masterpieces, though. Let's get rid of that one. That is filling quite quickly. That one's still not going. So the lead. All right, that's right. The lead's down here, down in the molten core. So not until we've got atmosphere, like oxygen in those suits, really, are we going to see any change there. So cool. You can see that this is now backlogged all the way to there, which means that these two are going to take the priority. And then once they cap out, although that one's got a really big room it's now got to fill, then more will head this way. And that still hasn't capped out either. So having our base full of oxygen does seem like it is pretty important. So still won't shift that. Okay, so the other thing, the shove vols. Suggestion for shove vols is put them in a ranch. Put them in a ranch made out of metal, clear it of all waste, and then give them a higher priority by the rancher. Oh. Can't collect him? Oh well. Sorry, buddy. Deconstruct that, though. And may as well attack him while someone's down there to get the food. Actually, let's not deconstruct that yet. Just disable it, because I realize what we can do is we can cut through here and there, and even there, and up here to get water to just run all the way down into this same one spot. I mean, we don't need it at the moment because this is full. Although I do wonder as well if I should make an larger area for my Parku, because yeah, they are coming pretty thick and fast. Okay, so next thing. An area to put a whole bunch of metal vols. Now, who's my guy? It's the guy wearing the hat. Hassan. Hassan is my... Hassan's not my farmer? My rancher, sorry. My rancher, no one. Looks like it should be Travaldo. Well, what we want to do then is put it over here somewhere, just so that it's in the same vicinity as these guys. How are you doing, Ruby? Slowly getting there. I mean, it's actually deceptive how close these things are together, because to get to here, you've got to come up here. To get to that one, you've got to then come all the way down here. Could get rid of that block, make this a ladder that comes straight down, and put a ladder down here, and set up my bowls sort of here, and then extend this ladder around and down that section. Ruby, you starving? Very low on food. Come on, Ruby, you can find something. So those have been used. See that all of this is currently thinking. Alright, so I guess I keep talking about the priority of the oxygen going to here, but I realize that as long as there isn't oxygen there, people can't go and get dirt, and if they can't get dirt, then I don't have my mealwood operating. So that probably is a bit more of a priority over second set of oxygen at the moment. So let's can't do anything but deconstruct that. Let's deconstruct that one square for now. Actually, let me think about that. Because what might happen then is this guy might just turn around and head down this way. So let's instead go up here and say gas pipe, deconstruct that one. So hopefully what that means is that no one gets confused. This will just sort of fill that with oxygen, but obviously once that's done, it's done. Once that's well, it's not even going to do it anymore. It's just going to stop at that weird spot. Cool. Then you can see, obviously, we've got a much larger amount heading this way. Hopefully that means that this one will be a lot quicker to cap out. And then once he's done that, then we've got all of this extra stuff to allow those to continue to work and get us some dirt and some food. Okay. Attribute increase. It's Camille working in machinery. So, let's have a look out here what we can do. Metal tiles. So metal tiles, it seems like we want to use lead. Even though we constantly seem to be at the struggling to find any. What we'll do is we will build across here and then build down and across. I'm not really sure how big a section they're going to need. I assume that would need a metal door as well then, wouldn't it? They're all metal, so that seems fine. Room just doesn't seem overly big. Fair to say that. What I should do is extend that out this way, and let's just try and flood this into this section here before we start building. So if we say dig this way and down, be able to hop down that way. Say cancel that build. Now we say dig, dig, dig. Come down into here, and then we say then dig, dig, dig. That. didn't realize that Meep still going in there too. Can almost graduate Meep. Then what we'll do is we'll run this to sort of back there. So the idea is that the shovel voles can't dig through metal, so it's just going to keep them limited to that room. And we can also just ask them to dig all of that out and that. And we'll just put a metal square there too. You know, if we ask for someone to dig, Ellie's going to be there nice and quick. Alright, how are we looking? That's looking better, so that's just about maxed out, which means that now we're about 100% of stuff is heading this way. And we can see that Ema is going nuts on the barbecue there. You can also see that all of those have actually happened enough that that we're now down to just having one of these guys left. So once that one's put into place, I think then I'll look at trying to plant a few more somewhere. How's this room looking too? That room is a lot nicer and cooler than it was before. Let's just start to deconstruct some of the stuff in that room. Should we try and rescue this guy? Oh no, he'll continue to live a happy life down there. Unreachable build. I suppose that's just because the rest of this room hasn't been built yet. I mean, we're just more into waiting for lead. But we actually did finally get all the lead going here, and you can see that thing is pumping away. So our water up here should be back on the increase. Now this water here is all 17, 19 degrees. So like I said, I can start to push this sort of 60 degree, and I've dug up so that it'll only be this top section. So hopefully it into the sub 20 degree water will sort of break a bit even, as opposed to overheating this water too much. I'm really glad to see all that lead was done on the other side too. There's our new gristleberry. I hope Mima, I don't know what her cooking skills are going to be like at this point. Cuisine 7. Assume that's going to be something that she's now going to start to get a bit more intensity on. Nice to see a few more mealwoods back to growing as well. So that we're back to accessing our tons and tons of dirt. But the problem is that with the layouts of all of those, if I want to get more bristle blossoms in, I suppose I can use this section for bristle blossoms, can't I? Because that's already got a 3-point spread, like roof. Doesn't seem like that useful. Germ resistant and athletic isn't bad bubbles, but and science is good. Falling asleep periodically is not. I mean, let's just get him going. Wrangle that dude, just chuck him in here. Actually, we might axe some of these older guys. That's only a young in that one. Who are you fighting? Another guy down here, is it? Right, they can't get down there because that's too steep. Let's cancel that. And then what we should be able to do is go dig, 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 dig. The problem will be that once they've done that, they won't be able to get back up anyway. Okay, let's cancel those. Those two again. Copy that back where it was. Allow those to come down, and then we'll just say build a short little ladder that runs from there to there. Those two. Cancel that one. And let's dig out that one too. It's like our whole... That new section of our bristleberry is starting to come into bloom too, and now that we're sort of blowing through, it's looking good. It's starting to slowly increase now too. Still haven't seen any steam come up. I assume that that's only going to happen once this water hits 100 degrees. This is nice to see that the area around it's only 20 or so. A bit of polluted water coming in there too. Alright, how are we looking? Your glum? See if we've got anyone over 20 in here. No, they're all pretty young. What are you doing in there, buddy? We got that ladder in nice and quick. Duplicate checkpoint. So I gotta get more patience when I get to the bottom there. Okay. Alright, this thing here where I'm trying to get all this out of the way so I can try and use this. So let's ask them to dig too wide on both sides of that to sort of flesh out a bit more of this, and then so we just, I suppose the better way we could do it is if we go cancel that, say dig like that, so just a 2 as far as you can that way, then a 2 as far as you can that way. Let's stay away from the lava stuff, and we'll go... That creates enough space down here. Still very low on that food. Hopefully getting more and more of our mealwood actually running. Good. And even, I mean, good as well, as you can see that that one that doesn't have a suit sitting in it is considering itself backlogged, which means that this one of them's ready to go. So we can't get it. I just don't have whatever it is I need to make that. Oh, it says 1. Good. I guess that one means that that guy's now play. Beautiful. Slowly edging towards that 7,500 need. Very happy to see the temperature out here isn't too impacted by that. So much water running down here. But for all the water that looks like it's coming down here, there's not that much that's ending up in the bottom. One problem I have down here is that there's nothing that's going to stop that from ventilating. Like, if this floods all the way up to here, not really too much we can do. I mean, like in the current design, at least, there's definitely stuff I can do. Just, assume it'd be something like automating this to say that if there's a sensor here or something to close that and then potentially reroute it somewhere else. Let's ask to move that debris. And copy that and build that there. This door here will be what they can use to sort of get into this section. Still waiting. Started its build. We can see that all that water has moved. Come on, dude, you can hop your way down there. And then what we want to do is copy this all the way back there, down, across. We can deconstruct that ladder, I suppose. Actually, let's cancel that. Cancel that. Bring it one forward. What we want to do is put a ladder that runs down that side there. Dig out those. That. Copy that to put a ladder there and there. And then what it means is that these guys can come down here and around that way. And then we can seal this off so it's internal to the base. Although to get rid of this polluted oxygen, what I'm going to have to do is like that same thing I always do where I just build and slowly push the bad oxygen out. Take some time because it's quite a big room. What we might do for that is I might cancel building the back wall of this for now. And we'll just work at pushing that oxygen out. Then once it's pushed out, then I'll just build in and push that. Yeah, sorry. Have that open, push the stuff all the way out till I get to that point. Build that as the metal wall, then deconstruct all the stuff on the inside. Has anyone actually gone down to try out my little test here? It's almost there. So it looks like that last part will clear that. Alright, I want to try this. The problem I also realized is that I've got this sort of set up like a shaft so that stuff just goes straight through it. But can I lock that door? Can I will it actually allow me to deconstruct it? Cool. I might put one of my own doors in there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll copy that, put that there. Now what's going to happen is it means that this section that I've blocked off is actually now going to be internal to the base. Now there is some polluted oxygen in here. But it does also mean that when whoever does this is actually going to have to do it without a suit on, because we'll put this airlock in. Let's cancel that airlock. Let's build one that's not using copper. Let's go wolframite. Goes up to 67 degrees, so I feel like my steam closer. Great. Okay, so then we're going to say lock that door. Still going well with the steel. Hopefully it means that the next video that they'll actually was good to go. Now, is that Ellie heading up there to lock it? No. Everyone's contributing and getting this thing going. They're excited to see a giant statue as I am. And let's just slowly work on deconstructing these towers. Or just deconstruct that whole one, I think. Should be able to reach that from the top. Doing it with, I think they must be so bored that I can, it's with such efficiency. Good, and they've locked that door. Just to double check to make sure I was just looking at buildings here. Cancel that one. You can probably jump up there anyway now. Okay. So, last things to do here is to deconstruct that. Sorry to whoever's going to have to head over there and do that in the wet. And then, copy that. Build that last piece of ladder there. Which we don't need anyway. And then dig out that one square. And see what happens. Not warm, there's probably someone's going to have a warm bath. It's not hot enough that they're going to get scalded or anything. And that is where we will leave it. Waiting to see what happens once we cut that over. So any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. I look forward to getting this going because definitely food is starting up a little bit. But meal lice is coming back strong as our main thing. But yeah, still got to work out that food. So hopefully that oxygen coming back in here is going to make life a little bit easier for us. Anyway, until next time, I will catch you later. See ya.